And now it's time for our mayor's panel. John Giles is the mayor of Mesa, Arizona. He is serving his second full term as mayor, and his priorities include education, digital access, and supporting a growing and creative economy. And Acquanetta Warren is the mayor of Fontana, California. Serving her third term as mayor, she is focused on economic growth and infrastructure improvement throughout her city. Mayor Giles and Mayor Warren, it's great to see the both of you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. Wonderful. Well, just to start off with, I'd like to pose a question to both of you. I know you're both focused on infrastructure and economic development over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, really, here in Washington. We've been hearing quite a bit about this Build Back Better plan from the Biden administration and this focus on infrastructure. To start off with a news of the day question, I would love to hear about, your opinion, your thoughts on this plan, the state of U.S. infrastructure, and how this is all impacting your individual cities. Mayor Giles, would love to start with you.
Well, thank you. That is a very timely question. And local government, we love infrastructure. So this is the Build Back Better plan, whether you're a Republican or Democrat. And Acquanetta and I happen to both be Republicans, but I think you'll see a lot of enthusiasm for getting more federal involvement in building up our infrastructure. COVID in my community has made some things that were obvious even more obvious. We knew we had a digital divide, but really I had an aha moment, a year and a half ago when I was sitting at a food distribution event at a school, and the families that were coming through were saying, yes, thank you, we need and we want the food, but even more importantly, can we pick up some paper workbooks, for our kids, because the curriculum has shifted to online, and that excludes us. So yes, infrastructure, we've been using this as, again, maybe as an excuse to address some of the infrastructure challenges that we have in our community, including addressing the digital divide, and including what we can do to implement our climate action plan with smart meters and electrifying our fleets, and just engaging in technology, not just for the sake of using technology, but to make life better for the citizens in our community.
And Mayor Warren, what's the situation in Fontana, California? I know that obviously your city is impacted, like many other cities, by the infrastructure talks in Washington.
We're watching it closely, and we're supportive of this happening. We need it. This entire country is being impacted. It is time for America to realize that we cannot continue to kick that can down the road. Our bridges are deteriorating, our streets need help. But more importantly, some of the things that Mayor Giles just talked about, it impacted us too. It was heartbreaking. We have one library here that is huge, and you will see crowds of young people, crowds standing around outside, and people that are walking or talking with me go, what are they doing? They're not inside the building. I said, they're trying to do their homework. They don't have it at home. So we've partnered with the school district in Crown Castle, where we are actually going to impact 36,000 students in our districts that will now have that. But we've got more to do. But I'll tell you, we cannot keep our environment stable if we don't get this infrastructure going. When you got bridges failing to the point where they're falling on top of families, and water infrastructure is deteriorating to the point where you got to start isolating wells, the product and the quality of life is being impacted because we are not paying attention to fixing things. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and we've been talking throughout this event today about the impact of COVID-19 and the pandemic on smart cities and the development of those smart cities. And I know that both of you have focused on this particular area in your respective cities. Mayor Giles, a few years ago, Mesa adopted a smart city master plan to identify strategies for building a smarter Mesa. What does a smart city look like to you?
Well, I think absolutely, it's a city that it has figured out how to use data. We don't want to use technology just for the sake of using technology. For example, one of the things we're doing right now is building a real-time crime center. And people might walk in and say, "Oh, it looks like you're just trying to look like a modern, the Jetsons style, police department. And nothing could be further from the truth, but because by utilizing technology, we are improving our ability to provide services. We are better able to triage the 911 calls we're getting and to send the right response to those situations. By adopting a smart metering program with our utilities, we are able, again, to help the economy, but also to help our customers to respond, in a real-time basis to the situations that they're facing with their utility providers. So smart city, I think smart you could interchange the word better. We're not trying to use technology just for the sake of technology. We're trying to use it to better the lives of our citizens.
And on that note, Mayor Warren, what does a smart city, in your opinion, look like to you, and how has Fontana sort of evolved to become a smarter city?
We are embracing smart methods. We have to optimize our city functions with budgets way down. We've got to make sure that everything we're doing for citizens is easy for them to access. We've gone to apps. We're looking at our permitting system. We're working on a 311 system. We're doing all these technological functions so that people can get better access to the services. And it's working. And it's also allowing us to get more people involved. And we don't have in our particular city a major network that pays attention to the news that was going on. And during COVID, it became apparent that the only thing they had was our website and our local channel, if they had access to cable. So I went into Mayor Mondays, where I was giving the citizens the latest on what was going on with COVID-19, where to get your vaccination shots, where to get assistance, where to find out what you needed to do. And that all comes from technology. So we have been embracing technology for a number of years, and it really paid off during COVID, and we're still embracing it.
Right, and Mayor Warren, you talked about the involvement of people, the people of your city in this development. Mayor Giles, I know that the opening of the Smart Mesa Today's Initiative website says a smart city is about people, not just tech. And I mean, I'm not an expert in this area, to be quite honest. When I hear the term smart city, I think of tech. What does that saying, a smart city is not just about people, or is about people, not just about tech, mean to you?
Well, it goes back to this idea that smart means better. Smart means, as Acquanetta was saying, we're all financially challenged, right? So we have to, the way that we can, if there's the tricks that we can use to provide better service and at the same time, save some money, we've got to take full advantage of that. That's why I keep going back maybe to this example of electrifying our fleet. But for example, one of the things that we just did last week is Mesa will be the first city in North America to have an operating electric fire truck. Now, some people wanted to criticize us for that, saying, well, why are you, experimenting on technology and then you could have bought a cheaper fire truck? Absolutely, all that's true, but it's because we know that in the future, having an electric fleet and including electric fire trucks is a better way to provide services. It's going to be ultimately less expensive and more efficient. So to me, that's, again, an example of a smart city is a city that's trying to become better.
Mayor Warren, a couple of years ago, you were one of 12 mayors to attend the Mayor's Leadership Institute on Smart Cities. Can you tell us about some of the actions that came out of that meeting and some of the conclusions that were reached?
When I got the opportunity to go to that, I asked all of our department heads to give me a copy of every paper they used to move the agenda. And somebody gave me a big box. So when I came back from that, I said, how can we put these in a way that we don't have all this paper? And our department heads went to work. And now we've improved our permitting system. We are working closer with each other when it comes to processing. But one of the bigger issues is looking at our utilities, because we don't own any of our utilities. We outsource all of that activity. But the communication between those different companies has improved through technology. And what I'm most proud about is our 311 system that actually will alert our public works area when we have wastewater malfunctions or something happens to any of the systems in place. So that conference set the tone for me that we would in fact look at every process and how we could automate it. And it also cut down the amount of time staff was spending, which gives them more time to answer the phones, do in-person needs, and make sure that we're continuing the flow of the city, but in a smart way. As my colleague just said, a better way.
Well, thank you so much to you both for all of this insight today. I know that I certainly feel like I got an education in smart cities. I hope our viewers did too. Thank you so much to Mayor John Giles and Mayor Acquanetta Warren of Fontana, California. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to talk with you.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of our first segment. A big thank you to our sponsors, Microsoft and Southern Company, and to all of you watching. We'll be back at 2 p.m. for our Focus segment, which today will be on digital infrastructure and feature Representatives Peter Welch and Kathy McMorris Rogers. Meet us right back here at 2 p.m. Eastern.